You want to take it away?
Okay, sure. I'm going to hit share screen so I can pull up my part of the presentation.
Carrie, before you get started, can you give us your 2-minute, why did you become a coach spiel?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I was working full-time at the time. It was in 2013. And it was before a beach vacation that I wanted to go on with my husband, and we were going with some friends. And I guess Emma had boosted a post or something, but it caught my attention. And I wanted to do something to take things to the next level. I'd been going to the gym, but it was, super inconsistent. And I mean, I would do like free weights and run on the treadmill, but there's never really a driving force or a passion like I had back when I was an athlete. And so when she hooked me up with the challenge group, I just immediately fell in love with the format. And it was like within 30 days that, I decided to become a coach too. And it was just like this culture felt like home, So it was like getting back into the sports life, and then everything else, helping other people, is just bonus. So anyway, I guess I'll start the actual presentation part. I'm excited to be hosting with Erica. We'll be talking about smart marketing. My portion will be about using marketing to your advantage. And Erica will be talking more about content marketing, and I know she's got some great resources for us. I guess before I go to that slide, I was just going to back up a little bit. I have a background in sales and in marketing. And when I was in sales, I did that for a company called Pitney Bowes. I worked for 7 years there. I didn't ever feel like I was the strongest at being like aggressive or persuasive, but I found other techniques, I believe marketing techniques, that helped me use that to an advantage to help make the sale more of a no-brainer. So anyway, when I look up marketing, Wikipedia lists 75 different kinds of marketing. So I just handpicked some that I think are relevant to us and what we do in our business as Beachbody coaches. Marketing involves the communication from introducing a new idea to fostering the end result or the sale. It's like the gaming that happens in volleyball that sets the ball up and gets it ready to be spiked, or for the sales process to take over. So some guiding principles. We are in a constant state of change. So consumer behaviors, competition, social media, Facebook alone is just constantly changing. So we must be adaptable and stay plugged into things like our team calls, listening to the National Wake Up Call, going this weekend to the Super Saturday, listening to podcasts, so that kind of thing. Consistency is really important in marketing as well, the way we present ourselves. When I had worked for an oil company in the marketing department, it was, down to the minor details, like the font had to be the same on the website, on the brochures, on the business cards. Everything had to come across in a consistent manner. And this helps us to look professional, and it builds trust with our audience. So trending marketing, I had listened to a podcast recently. It was an EntreLeadership podcast, and they talk a lot about how marketing has changed over the years, and it's less about promotional marketing these days and more about helping people. Those companies that are coming across as serving others are the companies that are successful. People are more naturally drawn to us when we are helping. Okay, keep it simple, stupid. So we don't want to try to do everything. It can be tempting to take on a lot of things, but we really want to focus on those vital behaviors. And then when it comes to a new project, like a marketing project, we just want to pick one thing at a time. Maybe it's like working on another social media platform, or beginning to develop a blog or a website. And then when we do focus on one thing at a time, limit that maybe to like 15 or 20 minutes a day, so that we just we can not lose focus of the important things like the vital behaviors. Okay, the concept behind guerrilla marketing is that on average, we need to expose people, 6 to 8 times before they will take action. So we are communicating in a way that's not selling, but planting seeds or starting conversations. Plus, people respond differently to different formats. So some people will respond well to, a post, while others really need that one-on-one interaction. Some like to see videos, or they're visual, or they prefer to talk by phone. So some ideas for multiple exposures are in person. We're a walking billboard, like at work, or maybe our church group, or if we're joining groups like a mom group, or maybe we want to host a fit club. These are great exposures. Also, indirectly through our posts, we can do posts like sharing about how we love Shakeology, how it's benefiting our health. And that way it's not that we're trying to push it down anybody's throat that they should buy Shakeology too, but it's just indirectly exposing them. Other examples could be like, sharing our challengers' transformations, recognizing our challengers, showing that we're being successful, or maybe a post about how coaching has helped to pay our mortgage payment this month. So these are all great indirect exposures. E-cards are another easy way to get an exposure out there. So if you look in your back office, there's a slew of options, and there's options, for holidays. Definitely before a product launch, I think it's a good idea. But if you just thumb through them, you can get an idea, and then maybe send out one in a month or every couple of months. And then if you'll get in the habit of looking at your email database after you've sent the e-card, maybe 24 or 48 hours later, you can see how often somebody has opened up the e-card. So like when I've sent out an on-demand one, I can see, somebody liked or opened it up 5 times. I know that they're a warm market lead. There's definitely somebody I should be talking to because they're interested in on-demand. Okay, existing groups is another great one. We can use reinforcement marketing. So like we can reinforce by asking, what benefits are you noticing from Shakeology? And when we get them, our challengers sharing with each other how it's benefiting them, it's reinforcing the continued use of Shakeology. Or, we could talk about on-demand or coaching opportunities that way too. Okay, mapping out a social media plan. So I think Erica's going to talk more about this as well. Emma had created a calendar where she lists out the types of posts she's going to do in a month. And that was great. It gave me a great idea, but I needed to take it to a different level because I already look at a calendar all the time and it can get discombobulated. So I just needed to separate that out. And so I started, based off of like the daily to-do list, I started creating a weekly to-do list where I list on there, it's just a checklist, what do I post about this week? Those 5 to 10 topics that we talk about as new coaches, those things that make you uniquely you. In addition to those, I add in there, giving recognition to somebody, why I love coaching, sharing why I love Shakeology or another Beachbody product, some type of value-adding post, an engaging post, so something that will get people talking on your feed, like do you prefer option A or option B? And then for those days, I have listed on the bottom that where I really have a brain fart and I can't think of what to post, I just give myself little tips like Monday motivation, Tasty Tuesday, Thirsty Thursday, Flashback Friday. And I find that this checklist helps me. It saves a lot of time. It saves brain power. There's less of a need to look for inspiration on the next topic. And it eliminates redundancies, not doing so many of the same types of posts all the time. Another idea would be to implement this type of process with our team pages. So maybe it doesn't have to be like a weekly checklist. Maybe it's every couple of weeks or every month where we have I need to do some sort of success story, some sort of recognition to somebody, sharing whatever it might be, and then we can go down the checklist, and that way it mixes it up and it saves that time and brain power as well. Okay, some tips for growing your page. Many of you may already be aware of this, but whenever you go to do your next post, if you make the habit of looking back at your previous post and seeing who has liked your content, if you'll go, I don't know if you can see my mouse on here, there's a hyperlink, like right here, it would be 15 others. If I click on that, it brings up a box like this. And so it shows everybody who liked my post. And then you can go in, and they've already liked your content, so they might as well like your page too, and maybe they'll continue to like your content. This is a free way. You don't have to spend any money to do this, but if you do want to boost it, of course, you'll get more traction and people that way as well. Another tip that I have found that helps me is, I know Facebook is pretty finicky these days, but if you refrain from tagging yourself when you first do your post, so maybe you do a post in the morning and then you come back in the evening and then try to tag yourself, it will bring that post back up to the top of the news feed of your friends' pages. And so maybe if they didn't see it when you posted it the first time, now they will, because it's showing that you got tagged in it. Okay, some other random tips. I have found Facebook events can be fabulous, but we only want to do that maybe once in a quarter if we're inviting, say, our entire friend database. But I think it's appropriate, like if we set up maybe an event for a coaching opportunity and we're inviting 40 people to it, and maybe we have a free nutrition event in another group where we've got 40 people in it. I think it's okay as long as we're not inviting the same people all of the time, because that can burn people out. But whenever we do create an event, I think that it makes sense to open it up with plenty of time, at least 3 weeks prior. So those when there's something like a challenge group that needs to be ordered, they need to order within that week before it starts. So we really have 2 weeks that we can be posting. And rather than reinventing the wheel, like with the 21-day fix launch, for example, if you go, like I went to Autumn's page and then I would see what the posts were like that got 1,000 likes versus 100 likes. And those things that got a lot of traction, I would try to recreate those and sprinkle them into the event like a few times a week about different things. Like one could be a transformation, one could be, implementing portion control. And that each time seemed to get more engagement. Somebody would always comment or send me a personal message each time I did that type of post in the event. Okay, repeat the good stuff. Periodically do an assessment of what is going well for you. So like maybe it's with your page, for example, if you go through and see all of the posts that are doing the best, getting the most traction, the most likes, or the most comments, and then save that content to a folder, and you can refer back to this at a later time, and maybe 6 months later you can open up this folder and tweak it a little bit and repost some of the stuff that did well the first time. And if it does well again, then you know that you're starting to get your brand. That's what your brand should be. So I think that takes us into more of the content marketing that if Erica, you want to take over, Erica? I guess I can stop sharing here. Are you there, Erica?
Yes. Can you hear me? I'm unmuted.
Oh yeah, there you are.
Can you hear me though? Yes, okay. So making sure. My internet has been cutting out, so if it cuts out, I can rejoin really quickly, so just hold on. Okay, share screen. Okay. Okay, is that working? Shake your head if you can see this. Yes? Okay. It is a lot like, even though I can see you, it is like talking to myself, so I'm just getting used to this. Okay, so tonight I want to talk to you about creating impactful content. It's one thing to know that we need to be posting and creating, but it's another thing to make it quality. And sometimes, anyone have those days where you're like, my brain doesn't work, or I'm having a crappy day and I don't know what what to do, or what I should post without just sounding really negative. So want to give you some strategies using who, what, where, when, why, and how. But since we always lead with our why, that's what I'm going to lead with as well. I did want to bring us back to the reason why we post, or our coaches actually. Success is when I add value to myself, and significance is when I add value to others. I love that quote from John Maxwell because I feel like it sums us up as coaches. We might have started because we wanted success for ourselves, whether it was going through our own transformation or the financial aspect, but now it is so much more than ourselves. And so to provide that significance to others by adding value, that's the key piece. So first one, our why, since we're leading with the why, first and foremost is that we add value. So what, it is our page, but it's not about the me, Erica show. It is how can I use who I am and what I am to add value to whoever is seeing it, my lifers, as Shalene says. Carrie mentioned our branding, that we pick, 5 or 6 things to sum us up. And I think there's a lot of value in finding things that are innate to us. If we have a brand and something is very forced, then it's going to be hard to be inspired or be authentic about an area. I'm not going to be posting about adventuring like Emma is. That's something she enjoys. I do not. Like, I don't want to go camping. I don't like to be cold, So those are the things. So I included this picture of my family because pictures say a lot about a brand. I get a lot of engagement by pictures of my family. And so there are some visual connections right away, obviously, like a biracial family, and I am a mom and whatnot. But to dig a little deeper and talk about things aren't always easy, and, cross-cultural, there's a lot to talk about with that, and confidence in being who you are, no matter your surroundings or what other people think. So just use what you have to share, and that should be your source of inspiration. And to share a sneak peek into our lives, but the struggles and victories. It's not all about having a picture-perfect life, because that is so boring. We need to be authentic and share how we have overcome and be the hero of our own story. Also with the why, Gary Vaynerchuk did the jab, 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 right hook. So we're basically paving a way in a path with what we're writing. So think about where you're leading people. Is it very sporadic, like they're jumping all over, or is it intentional? And that's what I think we should be doing. I'll read his quote, that a story is at its best when it's not intrusive, when it brings value to a platform's consumers, and when it fits in as a natural step along the customer's path to making a purchase. So yes, the end result, is that they join or become a coach or get a challenge pack. But there's so much more that we can add along the way before that. It's not just sales. And so that not intrusive, Carrie mentioned, the companies that are doing well are the ones that are helping, that are meeting that need, like the National Wake Up Call talked about. And she also talked about, or Carrie mentioned about creating consistency with our posts. So finding inspiration from, Move of the Day or Transformation Tuesday. I love that Carrie has Fun Food Friday, that I can always go there and know I'm going to learn something new and find new recipes. And it's very stable. Even on the Fridays where you don't maybe get as much engagement, I know that I can go there and find what she's going to have. All right, so the who. You really need to know your target audience. I know in the beginning I wanted to be friends with everybody, and I wanted them to like everything I wrote and to apply to everyone. I wanted to, talk to my parents' friends, and then my, everywhere in between. And once I realized the power of knowing audience and who I'm talking to, it makes your post so much more authentic, or your content in general. So a great tip is to create an ideal friend or follower. Picture that person before you sit down to write or talk. If you can be talking to them, if it sounds really salesy, you're not going to talk to your best friend about that, or someone you're going to, share your story. So I picture my friend Danielle in my head, and then, proceed. When you have that in mind, who they are, then you can make it all about them. So here are a couple content makeovers. Instead of just a sweaty post-workout picture, because they're kind of boring, or some people think they're gross or whatever. You can share a struggle or a victory, motivation, move of the day, or tip. Deanna, I love this recent one of her. She's working out, obviously. She's doing a great move for your core, but she talked about why she started, that she was an accountability partner with a friend who's turning 50. And then she also shared about some struggles with vitamin D deficiency right now. Super informative. It wasn't just, oh, look at Deanna doing some cool thing. So try to make value in your workout pictures. This was also Jenny on the side. Everybody's kids are cute, right? Your kids are like the cutest kids ever. And I want to post pictures of my kids all the time. And I actually made a deal with my husband the other day, because he's like, whoa, like it's way too much. So we were doing one kid pic a week, and it was so hard, but it was like, okay, I'm going to make this really valuable. And I love what Jenny did here, that she has this cute picture of her son, and dreams do come true. And it was actually an invite to a What is Coaching open house that started yesterday. But just talking about, her dreams, and that coaching allows her to live her dream of being a stay-at-home mom and still contribute and, influence others and be social, because she's super social also. So just think about that before you post, like, what is someone else going to be getting out of it? Who are you talking to? Okay, next. So sometimes I get confused about like adding value. Okay, so does it all have to be facts and stories? I love Gary Vaynerchuk's this little thing. Be generous, be informative, be funny, be inspiring, be all the characteristics we enjoy in other human beings. That's what jabs are all about. So being funny is adding value. Maybe they hadn't laughed all day. You never know. So again, sharing our story, we talked about that. When we connect emotionally, they're more likely to come back or become our lifer. I love that Shalene says. If you're kind of stumped, like, okay, what should I be, which direction should I go? Ask. There's so much power in asking. I know Carrie mentioned having a multiple choice post. Like, do you struggle more with fitting your workout in or fitting in healthy food in the day? Then you can address that issue. You always want to take action when you ask a question. Surveys, using SurveyMonkey or other platforms. Amy Porterfield has a podcast, and her recent episode, number 55, it was so good about how to use a survey to get deeper information. And she just kept hounding that every question you ask has purpose, just like everything that we post has to have purpose and value. So we take action on that. And Carrie already touched on using like page analytics or looking back, what is working? You know, if everyone is liking your recipes, then share more of those recipes, or yoga moves or whatnot. So use the analytics that you can to drive the content. And then knowing social media trends. So right now, obviously, video is taking over Facebook. So integrating videos into your Facebook or Instagram, whatnot, and running ads, etc. Different platforms will have different trends, and just jump on board. Try it out. Even if you hate doing videos, the more you do it, the better you'll get. Okay, where? It can be overwhelming. So like all the different platforms, I know when I started, I wanted to do everything. I was like, okay, so I have to start a Twitter account, and I still don't have one because I'm just trying to focus. It's best to pick 2, maybe 3 platforms and become an expert in it. Do it well. Dive into being knowledgeable and improving your skill. When Carrie touched on this really well about a monthly calendar, your posts are basically flyers. You need to know what you are inviting to. What is the purpose? So having a posting schedule, I really recommend everyone watch Brigitte Linford's YouTube video on how to be efficient and organized. She has a posting schedule. She uses a clipboard, and she has a lot of great other information in there too. But just to have some consistency and direction for you. Post schedulers. I know that Dawn and Deanna are masters of Hootsuite, and Deanna is starting Edgar, which is I can't speak too much on it because I'm still learning more, but you basically create stockpiles of different categories like recipes, blog posts, quotes, and it will automatically generate on whatever time schedule that you set up. You can set up your content on whatever social media platform as well, to my understanding. And a posting bank. I mentioned in the beginning, does anyone have those days where you could just post like 25 things because your creative juices are running and E&E kicked in and still lasting after your workout? Instead of posting 25 times that day, create a bank and save it for a rainy day. So you have some really cool pictures and you've edited them really well, or you have some ideas in your head. Put them aside in whatever tool you want to save them, and pull them out when you're not feeling like it. All right, last slide, I promise, is the how. I just wanted to give some resources, ones that have helped me. The summit last year, Melissa McAllister, right? Melissa McAllister and Tara Carr did social media pitch to your niche, and it is fantastic about both Facebook and Instagram and just branding. It encapsulates everything. So watch or listen to that. I've been listening on iTunes. Your success tab in the Coach Online Office. I think the training tab also will have resources. Podcasts that I really love are The Chalene Show, Build Your Tribe. Chalene focuses more on Instagram, and Amy Porterfield focuses on Facebook. And Michael Hyatt, he's a blogger and has a website, writes books, so different areas there. And then on Instagram Impact, which is by Chalene, has all up-to-date things that are working on Instagram and not. And then follow a top coach who you resonate with and see what's working for them. How do they call for action? I loved 2 national wake-up calls ago, she said, now I can't remember her name, sorry, but she said that our value does not lie in our rank. Our value lies in our skills and what we add to others. And so just become an expert. Just try, fail, see what works. And I hope that these strategies will help you when you are needing to find ways to add value and create impactful content. That is all I have. So I think, okay, probably undid. Okay.
Thank you, gals, for sharing tonight. You gave so many awesome notes. I was scribbling pretty fast. And a lot of bits and pieces, and definitely rounded it out with talking about the why and to go about it with a system and don't just willy-nilly it. And I love that, because when you can put your blinders on and really tune into who you are and what it is that you're wanting and what is your message that you want to share, then you're going to be really successful like you two. And so I appreciate you taking time to put this together. Does anyone have questions they want to ask to Erica or Carrie or anything at all? I'm sure they are willing to share.
I do. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, Chanel, go ahead.
Okay. So I just finally started my page in the past couple months, and I felt like I was doing a really good job over the past year posting everything on my personal page. And then now that I've created this second page, I'm really struggling because I don't know how to split up my content. I want to continue to post on my regular page, and now I feel like I have people that I'm posting on that page, I'm posting on my personal page, I'm posting in groups, I'm posting in my lifetime accountability group with all my previous challengers. I post there 6 days a week, and I'm just worried people are getting overload from my posts, and I also don't know how to decide where to put what content.
I saw somebody, they had I recently moved to, and then list the link to your page or something, and create that your cover. And maybe you can direct all the traffic that way to your page and do less posting on your personal page. And then when you're doing the tagging, then it's automatically going to show up on your personal page too. But I like that when I saw that. I can't remember which coach it was, but
Rachel Luna. I saw that too. Rachel Luna has that. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I want to direct everything to my business page though, because I like having my personal page too, and I have way more people there than I do on my business page, and I get way better reach on my personal page. Well, I don't know that, but I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah.
I can't see it, but I'm pretty sure I have way better reach because I get way more likes on my personal page than on my business page.
Yeah, so I've been doing it a while, and I grew my Facebook page. They used to be easier to grow back in my day. I mean, I didn't start that long ago, but a couple of years ago, you could grow it so much faster and more authentically in a different way. Like the things that are relevant right now on Facebook are no longer, or were not relevant then. And so as the different things have shifted, the things you post on your personal page get higher affinity, unless you're building a tribe. So you'll see people like Shalene or Natalie Jill or whoever. But I think it's all about, you have to build your tribe and be really clear on your page of what you're building. And so that way people come back for the content. And so encourage things that people would want to like and share and invite their friends to come see, if that makes sense. You got to check out my friend Chanel, and that'll help to build your page. But as far as how to divide those things up, as the way I think about it when I'm working my 2 different pages, is that I like to post more of what's happening to me personally on my personal page. And then I post more of the business side of me, Emma as a coach, a leader, that goes on my other page. if that makes sense. And so I do a little bit of overlap. Sometimes I'll double post the same thing if I think it's relevant to both groups. And sometimes I will go back and tag myself into something if I wanted to. Like if it's a post about me working out with my kids or something like that, then I'll post or I'll tag myself on my regular page too. So I think if you see it like if you're talking to your friends, and then also as if you're talking to the people that are potentially clients. But that's where it gets a little bit muddy, because you really can create 25 different things for all your different groups. My thing is that if you're going to be posting in a lifetime ongoing accountability group, and you're posting in a challenge group and all those groups, that should all be the same content. You know, you should have a plan with those things, like a 30-day guide. And your ongoing lifetime group should be more of like, we're just checking in. It's more like a social chat room, and I check in less with that. And then your content you're creating for your page is more of like your store that's open. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Erica, did you have a different opinion of that? Erica Akingboye.
I actually have the same issue as Chanel, because I just opened my like page and feel the same way. Like I'm either creating a whole ton of stuff, or I'm using the same thing in everything. And I'm like, what's the point of them being in a challenge group? I mean, I have the daily post, but then I'm basically sharing what I put on my like page with everything else. So I'm trying to compartmentalize. One thing I like about Megan Ewaldson's page and Janelle Summers is they basically have like 3 things. You know, there's a recipe, a video or a fitness thing, and then like a motivation or a story. And so I think, you know, that would be a good, I'm thinking of doing that for my fit foodie culture. I feel like those 3 things I could just use. But compartment, same thing. I have so many friends on my personal page, and so it's frustrating when I only get 3 likes on my like page and then a bazillion on my personal page. But yeah, they're just clients versus friends, I suppose.
And you got to use the tools that are available. I mean, your business page is your business, and so invest in it with ads and different things, and shareable content. Like create your content once and make sure that like a YouTube workout video or whatever you're doing with the recipes, then put them into files so you have them for later and to refer to. And you can repeat some of that content over and over again, if that makes sense. But as far like this could be a completely different conversation, but with your challenge groups, there should be a little bit of uniformity of how you run each one. So there should be posts that you created and put into a document, and so each challenge group is having kind of the same thing happen, and then that way it's not overlapping necessarily posting that way. But you'll get it. It just takes time, and you can, this is one of those things I was talking about earlier, that if you are going to post on Facebook, tell yourself, I'm going to master posting on Facebook. So I'm going to get educated. I'm going to go take the best trainings out there and make this my business, because it is. Right? Don't just post to willy-nilly post. That doesn't make any sense. This is your job. So go take the time, learn from the best, and then implement it for yourself. It'll be worth your time. It'll pay you back tenfold, and then keep doing it until you get it right, until it feels good. And then as soon as you feel like you have an understanding of it, Facebook's going to change it, and then you have to learn it again. Or we'll move on to like a different social media platform. Okay, any other questions? Did you guys want me to run through the top 10 things? Is that why you're hanging on so long? No? Okay, I'm going to start. If you want to jump off, you can. But we were sitting in the, they did a top 10 panel at the Cancun thingy. And I took notes as fast as I could. But basically what they went through is if you were to go back, what would you say is a must do? You have to do this. What is a don't do this? And what is either a do-over moment or a failing forward moment that you had? So top coach is Melanie Mitro. She said, the number one must do is you got to read the book, The Slight Edge, and highlight it and really dive into that and then implement it into your life. And I'm going to record this in a YouTube video, so don't worry. I'll put it in content. If you don't take the notes on it right now. Number 2, don't waste time looking at others or shiny things. So with examples of that is don't spend time on social media looking at everybody else's posts. That's going to be a big time waster for you. You'll lose your voice. It won't sound like you, and you're going to end up mimicking everyone else. And we all know that a copy is never as good as an original. So speak from yourself. You can use ideas to get like, how do I edit a picture? That looked good. How can I duplicate? Maybe using something like get ideas or whatever, but take it and make it come from your heart. The other thing she was like, don't try to do all social media avenues at once. That's your biggest mistake. If you're committed to growing a Facebook like page or a blog, then grow that until you feel super comfortable with your skills in that area. So don't try to do all of them. Just choose one and then become great at it. Her failure or defining moment was when she was going for leadership, to go attend leadership, and that's when it was 2 stars and above could go, and she didn't get it, and that was her goal. And she realized that moment was actually a good thing, because it taught her, like, you really could go further. You could push harder, and you just didn't. You gave up. So that's on you. And she owned that, and then that helped her to become top coach. It's because she realized she was capable of so much more. Okay. The number 2 coach is Lindsay Matway. She was the top coach last year. And she said, a must do is you have to continually work on yourself. All the time. You dive into personal development, not so you can post a pretty quote on Facebook or check in with your vital behaviors, but because you need to fill yourself up and empower yourself and become the best version of you. Your business growth will be equal to the amount of growth that you do on the inside of you. I thought that was pretty impactful. Don't focus on your weakness. Strengthen your strengths instead. Like your 2s, the thing that are a 2 will never become a 10. Your 2s might, if you focus on your weaknesses that are, on a scale of 1 to 10, they're 2, you're not that great at it. It might get up to a 5, but what's the point in that? So focus on your 7s and 8s and get them to a 9 or a 10. And the thing that she wished she could do over is realize faster that you just can't choose for your coaches to want it. They have to choose it for themselves. And so you love them and you let them go. Okay, number 3 coach, Lori Stewart, a must do. She said personal development every single day as a thing to refuel yourself, because you're pouring yourself into your challengers, your page, your family, your team, and everything, and then you're empty and dry and run ragged. And so not just to grow and to get new ideas and to refine your skills, but you got to do it as simply a way that you need to fill up your bucket. Something she wished she would have done differently was she wished she would have just come out of the closet and said, I'm a coach and this is cool, and own it like a profession. Like when somebody goes to school and they become a doctor, they're not like, oh, I'm a doctor and I apologize for being a doctor. Or a painter doesn't apologize for being a painter. If you work at Target, you're not apologetic because you work at Target. You're a coach and you're a part of something really cool. And so make sure you own that. The book that she recommends reading is You're a Badass. And so put that on your list of reading. Number 4, Amy Silverman. I love Amy Silverman. If there's somebody that's super authentic out there and she does not care what other people think, it's Amy. And I love her. Must do is be all in with all aspects of your life. And so just make sure that you are super present in whatever you're doing. She says that one of the biggest things for her was with personal development. She took it to the next level and started attending seminars, and you see her travel around the world. And she's like, that's when I fully immersed myself into becoming a better person. And I was all in with just figuring out who I am. And by doing that, I could figure out what kind of leader I was, because when I was trying to lead like someone else, I failed. And it was just such a cool thing to hear her say. She's like, don't try to be anyone else. You can't. You just can't do it. You're wasting your time. And there's a big difference between listening to and applying personal development. A do-over moment was she was about to get another job. She was going to go back to waitressing because Beachbody wasn't really working out. And so I think it was her boyfriend or whatever said, what are you doing? Why don't you just do this? Or why don't you, they had a conversation and decided, no, I'll just go all in with this instead of trying to spin my wheels in all these different directions. Just focus in and put all your energy into this. And for her, it's blown up. I think she's a millionaire. I'm not sure. She's very close. So recommit to your business and talk about the business with the team as a business, not just as a fluffy bunny thing that you're kind of doing as a hobby, but this is a business. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about your goals. Let's talk about you as a leader. Let's talk about your leadership skills and qualities and how you want to do that. And then present it that way, especially to your team that's trying to grow. Know how to do placement and earn money and explain that to them. And so that way they'll be confident with following you. Oh, I think my computer might die, so hold on. Let me grab my charger. I thought it was in here. That's better. Okay. So Melissa McAllister she was in PIO, you guys, the dark-haired lady. You guys know her. Anyway, she's awesome. Her thing, do be a good recruiter and not a manager. That was awesome. Because you're recruiting people to this business opportunity, but they actually have to be the ones that do something with it. And she's like, ask everyone that you meet, like ask everyone that you'd actually want to have on your team. So don't just ask everyone you meet. That's a wrong statement. Some people you're not going to want to work with, and it'll be like a pain in your side. And that's true. So ask the people that you admire, respect, see something amazing in them, and at least just throw it out there, because what'll happen is they'll end up signing up with somebody else and you'll go, argh, I wish I would have asked them. Or you'll miss a good opportunity, because the worst thing that will happen is they become extremely flattered because you offered that to them and you complimented them. Don't assume people like, or what did I say? Oh, don't assume people are motivated or like the same things that you do. So a mistake she made was she's very self-motivated, so she doesn't need someone to tell her to get to work. She just gets to work and gets the job done. And I said, I'm going to do it, so I'm going to do it. Let's go. And she didn't need somebody to praise her or give her affirmations like, good job, or anything like that. That's just not how she thinks. But she realized a lot of her team was feeling disconnected because words of affirmation were their love language. And they needed to hear from her, you can do this. I believe in you. You're doing a great job. Let's talk, and all those things. And so she had to spend more time with her team. And so figure out from the love languages or the color codes what your team needs to hear, whether it's your challengers or your coaches. And then she said the thing that she would say to do is focus on the whole, like the whole picture, total wellness, and how this is going, like the whole aspect of coaching. Like, what are you posting about with that? It's not just about the money and the discount and the fitness. It's about how you feel with your team, like at events. It's about how it's changed your life as a person and how your relationships are better and things like that. So the total benefits of being a coach, and not just some of the checklist items. Okay, number 6, Anita Myron. She said, don't compare yourself to others. She said, just share your life authentically and make sure you share the business with everyone. In the beginning, she was trying to like imitate her upline coach, and she was trying to post, like she would take her post ideas and do them the exact same way, formatted the same way, pictures the same. And then one day she just hopped on and was like, I'm just going to share my story. So she did. And she was kind of embarrassed of her story. And ever since then, she's like, I'm just going to be a storyteller. And that's when everything took off for her. And she just realized that's what she was very motivating because of her, not because of being able to duplicate her upline. And then she said, people that are experts may be technical experts, but you can be an accidental expert. And I love that. I wanted to give her a fist bump because I'm like, yeah, college dropout. Like you can be a technical expert, meaning you have a degree in this and you have this and that and this credential, but you may not be doing it well, or that doesn't make you good at what we do. But you can be an accidental expert by just living it, right? You've embraced it. You're just living it. You've been studying your whole life, that kind of thing. And that's where I'm at. Like I've always just kind of been into this stuff. So don't think that because you don't have certain credentials, you're not good enough. So a crucial moment for her was, when I started trying to be my upline and then dove into personal development and figured out who I was. That's what she said. Number 7 is Carly Del Carlo. She said, do share the biz and own your role as a leader, not your upline. So don't rely on your upline to lead training groups, lead challenges, do all these things for you. You need to own it and say, this is my team. I'm the CEO. Let's go. And make sure you know your why and share why you're doing this with everyone. Make sure you share your why with a call to action. So she would form a post about how Beachbody has changed her life. It's given her this opportunity to do, I can't remember what she said specifically. And she would form a post around that, but then at the end she would have a call to action. Like, if you'd like to learn more about this, then send me a message, kind of thing. So invite people. Don't just talk about what's happening with getting fit. Don't just talk about those things, but the whole total package, and then ask somebody to get info. Okay, number 8, it was Brittany Leggett. They went kind of fast through the last few. Brittany Leggett, and she said, do create a team culture by training your mind to visualize who you want on your team and how you want it to feel. So think about your team and write it down. Who's going to be on there? What kind of a person is it going to be? What kinds of things will happen when you're together? What kind of success do you want to have? How is it going to feel? And she said there's a lot of personal development on figuring this out, and it takes time, like lots of time, to train your mind, and you have to be committed to making sure that you do this every day, and then that will attract people to you like it. I was listening to a thing with Chalene Johnson today, and I just have to say this. She goes, people will say, gosh, how do you attract so many people to you? Like, you just find all these people that are so positive and driven and yada, yada, yada. I can't find people like that. And she said, that means that you're not like that. That's not who you are. And it's simple as that, right? So you got to train your mind to think about who you want to be, not who you are right now. Okay. And then Brittany said, track and set your goals every month. So don't rely on your upline to tell you if you're on track. Look at your goals, know your numbers, look at your personal volume, team volume, how many coaches you recruited, did they rank advanced, did they hit Success Club, and then set your goals above and beyond that for the next month so you know what you're aiming for. You do this for yourself. And then don't underestimate the power of saying how much you believe in your team over and over again. One-on-one, with them on the phone or in a message, and just tell them you can do this, because one person believing in you is enough. Yeah, I believe that. Okay. Number 9, Micah Folsom said, the important stuff is the same of what you did in the beginning. So we get too caught up in all the trainings and the webinars and things like that. They're great to get you educated, but the things that you did to show up every day for your vital behaviors, to be excited about what we're doing, to listen to the National Wake Up Call, be in your challenge groups, engage with positive people, be excited about everything. That's the important stuff, and that's the stuff you need to continue to do all the time. And that's what's going to lay the foundation for a great business. And she's a work-at-home mom, and she says, I just woke up a little earlier, knocked things out when I could, and then try to set a schedule, but it never works out. And it's okay for your kids to see that you're working and you're a mom. For you to go, you need to play Legos. Mommy's on a conference call for the next 30 minutes, and you don't interrupt me because I'm working right now or whatever. To set those boundaries, because that's okay. And I agree with that. You may not, but there has to be, limits for your family. It sets boundaries and respect that everybody has needs in this house, right? So I thought it was cool that she said that. Maybe that doesn't work for you. Maybe it does. We'll see. Okay, number 10 was Alyssa Shoemaker. And she said just to keep everything super simple. She's like, I just keep going back to the same things make sure you dive into the vital behaviors and own them like they're your job. Be a master of those things and own yourself and improve yourself through the vital behaviors every day. You're a health and fitness coach. You better own it. You better love it. You better be committed to that. So, all right, that's all for tonight. That was a lot of content, so I hope you guys' brains are on fire. Go take a minute and process and relax. Good night.